Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Suburban Driving with Miranda. Nope, not outside again. We had a good 30-degree temperature change and it went from plus 15 to feeling like a minus 27. So I decided to stay in the car today. As you can see, I am already behind the wheel. This is the all-new 2021 Nissan Sentra SR. It has a 6-speed manual transmission, so let's go for a drive. So here we are inside the 2021 Nissan Sentra SR. I quite like it in here. It's nice. It's got, you know, the dual stitching. The seats are actually really cool. Nice little like racing stripe down the middle, but I like the orange contrast with the black. They're comfortable. They're bolstered, you know, nice sporty seats because it is the SR. You've also got the dual stitching on the dash, which is nice. Center console is pretty straightforward. Not a huge fan of Nissan's onboard system. I don't find it very user-friendly. Obviously, plugging in CarPlay is the best option, but if you don't have that or don't want that, then you have to get used to their system. And I just don't find it very intuitive. Of course, the best part about this interior is the fact that it has the 6-speed manual transmission, but I will get to that once I start the drive. Comfortable steering wheel, bit of a flat bottom, again, an ode to its sportier nature, which is what the SR stands for, actually, Sport Rally. Anywhere across Nissan's lineup where you see SR, that is what it stands for. Comfortable back seat, good size. My child had a good amount of space. We took this car snowboarding. We fit all of our gear. We've put down one side, put the boards through to the back. Trunk is actually really nice and wide and can fit quite a bit in there. So we had room to spare, even with our boots and our snacks and our helmets and all the other things that you need to bring when you have a kid and you do activities. But yeah, no, it's good. It's not a huge space. It's not a big car. This isn't the biggest car in their lineup, obviously. It's grown over the years. You know, if I think back to my first unofficial car, not the car that I initially paid for, but the one that my parents let me take all the time. It was our family car, but it eventually became mine because I used it all the time. It was a Nissan Sentra GXE. It was beige. It was a 2000-2001 automatic. And I simultaneously hated it and loved it all at once. It was beige on the outside, beige on the inside, and it drove beige as well. But it was my first car and it gave me freedom, so I had to love it a little bit. So if I think back to what that used to look like and all those days that I spent in that car driving to university, this is definitely leagues above that in terms of interior and exterior design. They have come so far in the look of their Sentra, and it's definitely matured and grown up and gotten a bit of an attitude, whereas before it was kind of rounded on the edges in all respects. So it's good. This interior is nice, and I think it would be easy to maintain, and you know, you wouldn't be lacking for space or comfort with this vehicle. So here we are driving the Nissan Sentra SR with a 6-speed manual transmission. I must say that is a super nice change. I am not a fan of Nissan CVT. I find it very loud and drony. I have for years now. It's just something that gets to me. So when they said they had an SR with a manual transmission, I was super, super duper excited. What I was also super excited about was the fact that this could possibly have more power than the other models in the lineup. It doesn't. So no matter which Sentra you choose in the lineup, be it the base model S or the SR, but not the SR Premium because that only comes with CVT, just the SR, you get the same 149 horsepower, 146 pound-foot of torque, 2-liter that is currently under the hood here. So no, this does not give you any extra performance or power having this vehicle. What it does give you is the exterior look, the interior accoutrements, and the like the fancy stitching and the seats, and then yes, you have your 6-speed manual transmission. So how does it drive? I don't know. It's not, again, it's I expected more, I guess. Kind of like I wanted it to feel like the WRX over the Impreza type thing. Silly me. And as I've said before, I like to go into these things a little bit blind. I didn't do a whole lot of reading about the car before I picked it up. I just got the keys, got into the car, and then decided to see how I felt about it. And then I looked at the specs afterwards. So on those first impressions, I wanted to feel more. As you can see too, it is a little bit rough. The suspension is a little bit, well, it's sporty. And our roads are terrible. Let's not try and forget that fact. It's not all the car's fault. It's our maintenance. Anyways, super easy manual transmission to drive. If you are just learning or starting out, or you're not too sure about the whole manual thing, I really like it. I've had vehicles like this in the past. I think a Ford Focus might have been the last one that I had like this, where the revs are held for you. So even if you, or when you get off the throttle to engage the clutch, the revs stay for like 1-2 seconds, but it's just enough time that you can catch the gear. If, you know, you're still unsure about the gear placement and coordinating it all, it sounds like you're giving a little bit of extra boost of throttle when you get off of it, but it's actually just the revs being held and going up just a little bit. But it is an excellent way to learn how to drive stick shift. So highly recommend this manual transmission for those learning. Now, if you do want a manual Sentra and you don't want to pay for the SR, which by the way is under $25,000 for this, so I think it's a great price for this vehicle. It's, like I said before, it's roomy, it's comfortable inside, it has a great exterior look. You get the fancy two-tone and you get the nice stitching inside. But if you just want the manual, then you can always get the base S version, which is closer to the $20,000 mark. So you get the same engine, you get the same performance, you get the same power, and but you get the manual, the 6-speed, which I think makes a really big difference when driving. Even if you don't have a super powerful engine, just the fact that you are in control of your car and your gears, and you know, it's really good to drive in the winter too. It helps in a lot of situations to have a manual transmission car. It can help you get out of some sticky situations. And of course, this is front wheel drive as well, not all wheel drive. But yeah, when I saw the price, I kind of forgave it for not having the extra performance or not being the, you know, high-powered version of the Sentra that I thought it was. And honestly, I think for what this vehicle is, that price tag makes perfect sense. And Nissan has a really good product here, and it will, I think, get a lot of attention. It's not like the old Spec V or Spec R was back when I had my Sentra. There was a sporty version of it, and it did have a higher performance. It had a different engine. That is not what this is. That's not the same as that generation. But it does have enough differences here and there to set it aside, and if you have a Sentra SR, you will be proud to drive it. You will definitely turn around and look at it as you walk away to get that final glance. And it's fun to drive. It's not super loud. You don't have like a crazy exhaust note. You don't have a crazy engine sound, and you know, the fact that it only has about 149 horsepower, it is not hugely powerful, but still, I enjoy it, and for the price that it is, it's a good little car. Well, I gotta say, the Sentra has come a long way in its design over the generations and over the years. Like I said before, when I used to have my Nissan Sentra GXE, it was bubbly, it was round, it was very beige, and it had very little characteristics and very little personality quirks. It was just this blobby thing. And that is not the case with this Sentra SR. I love the two-tone. I think the white and the black looks super sexy, super classy, but at the same time, it has this really kind of performance, sport-driven, aggressive stance to it without being too muscular or beefy over the wheel wells. You know, it doesn't have a huge wing off the back. It doesn't have massive bumpers, but it has all these little subtle cues that give it that little extra edge, and it definitely turns heads on the road. You know, it's grown a bit in size. It looks a lot like its older brothers, the Altima and the Maxima. You know, there's a definite family resemblance. I love the V in the front, the signature Nissan grille. And I just think it really helps it stand out. Whereas the Sentra kind of used to blend in with every other car on the road. Now they've really made it stand out. Kudos to Nissan design team. They made the right changes with this vehicle. And I think it'll attract the right type of buyer as well. All right, guys. Well, that's been it for me. Thank you so much for stopping by to check out the all-new Nissan Sentra SR. As always, if you have any questions or comments, you can hit me up at Miss Miranda L on Instagram or Twitter, or Miranda Lightstone on Facebook.com, or drop a comment below. Hope to see you guys back next week. Stay warm.